I'm really excited today to be talking to you about a few updates in our store, and I'm also going to introduce to you the start of a little mini series we're going to do on how to break in your carrier. What does that mean? What does it look like? So today, right now, I'm going to be unboxing with you a linen ring sling. I'm going to show you what that looks like with it not being broken in at all, just fresh out of the package. We'll look at some examples of some different fabrics and sort of different stages of breaking in. And this week, I'm going to walk you through what I do to break things in, so you'll be able to follow along and kind of see for yourself what that looks like, what that means, and all of that jazz. Before we get to that, I want to give you a few store updates. So for those of you who are still shopping, we are shipping very quickly. We are all caught up, which is great. I want you to know that because of slowing down of shipping speeds when things go to carriers, I am recommending second day air orders in by today. So UPS second day air, select that at checkout today, and for 12/24 delivery. So for delivery for Christmas or Kwanzaa, that's what I want you to do if you're ordering today. Okay, that's what's going to get things where you need them to go. Okay, so that's update one. So we're running tight, right? Because of shipping delays that we're seeing, not here, but on the postal carrier. So for those of you who are a little bit unsure if something might make it in time, maybe you need it shipped to you and then shipped to someone else, for example, we have got something for you too, for you super last minute people. We're going to be start talking about that tomorrow, but you are definitely going to love it. And this is the kind of thing that works for someone like me who always has a million things to do, and then it's the last minute and I don't know if I'm going to get something in time. So this is perfect for you. Okay, you're really going to enjoy it. And let's see, on the horizon, we've got a few things coming up. So as we've sort of teased about before, we are going to be introducing a membership model very soon. I'm going to go over the details of what that looks like and what all the perks are. I'd love to hear from you what you'd like to hear as a perk as for being a member, but I'm really excited about that. I think you're going to enjoy it. And we'll be launching a new brand rep search sometime in the beginning of the new year. So thank you to our current reps. I know that they all have their beauties by now, or they should, their gifts, and I'm really excited for them to be showing those off to you as well. And we'll be sharing those and chatting about them. And you can chat with them also in our group if you are not there already. Facebook.com/groups/Mama and Ruse, MAMAANDROOS. That will get you in the Mama and Ruse Baby Wearing chat group, where we would love to have you, and you can talk to everybody there. It's a really nice group, and I'm excited. So that's sort of about the store and what we've got going on and coming up there. I want to also talk to you about breaking in fabrics. So especially when we've got a lot of people who have ordered something as a gift for yourself or for a loved one, and it says, we say in our emails, right, updating you in our wash and care guide, we say we want you to break the fabric in. And sometimes, especially for those of you who aren't quite sure what you were getting, with like a mystery box or something like that with the linen, sometimes I hear some sort of, whoa, like, what is this? This doesn't feel quite how I expected. And so I want to talk a little bit about fabric types and kind of what sort of goes into what happens when you get your fabric, right? So there's sort of a lot of steps to making fabric. It's pretty cool. I'm going to have to post some videos of some of our manufacturers so you get to see those as well, because I think it's really cool. As many of you know, we have machine woven and we also have hand woven options. Either of these, we also have our stretchy knits, so it's a little bit different. We won't talk about those right now, but most of our items are woven. And so whether it's on a machine or by hand, if you imagine a loom, so maybe I'm dating myself. When I was in art school, in elementary school, we made our own little mini loom, and we wove the yarn in between the fabric of the loom to make our own little art projects. So I don't know if you did that or not, but if you did, it's a very similar concept. It's a very similar idea, right? So either a big machine loom that has fabric preset in there, threads preset in there for the threads to weave through, or by hand, someone with weaving those threads in by hand. It's pretty cool when you look at the intricacy and you're like, oh my gosh, a human's hand went through and did that. And even with the machines, there's somebody there who's like making sure all the colors match up, and it's a pretty cool process. It really is. So that's how that comes together. And so and those threads may or may not have been sort of pre-treated. Probably just depends, but they want the fabric to be able to be woven together pretty well, and then once everything is threaded, it goes through a couple other processes, and so to get the softness, so especially our Lenny Lamb carriers are some of the softest on the market when you get them. I would say from what I've seen and what I compare to the other brands in our store, they're some of the softest, and so the reason some are softer than others is because of how many finishing processes they go through. So basically they'll weave this big long length of fabric, right? However many meters or yards they're going to weave that day, and then they finish it off and they wash it. They wash it. They process it. Sometimes dyes need to be processed a certain way to help them set. Kind of whatever needs to be done to make sure that the fabric is finished for a couple reasons. So things don't bleed. We don't want people to get their wraps and it bleeds everywhere. But also to set the threads, to set the fibers. And so what happens, and so all of our brands recommend that when you get your wrap, you do one last finishing wash. One last finishing wash, drip dry. That sets the threads. Okay, that's actually really important because if the threads aren't set, they can move, and if they move, we can actually introduce weakness in between them. And so basically, depending on the brand, some brands you'll purchase need multiple washes. Many of ours only need once or twice to really feel like they are set, and also to feel like they are soft. So why would you need to do that? Why would you need that? Some fabrics, so I'm going to show you linen today, and we're going to walk through that. So this is a linen ring sling. Linen, if you don't know, is actually from the flax plant. So like flax seeds. So there's that plant. It is typically harvested by hand so that the fibers don't break before they're able to be used. Then the flax plant, which is typically harvested by hand, is then made into thread, and then that thread is processed and made into linen. So it's quite a few processes already to get it to this point. And so typically it just is going to take longer than cotton, which is already softer and already has a different flavor to it. It's going to take a little bit longer than that to break into the softness that we like. The benefit of that is that you get something that's more durable than cotton, and also that is more friendly to changes in sort of temperature and moisture. Linen is a great so linen will wick moisture away. I think it's like 30% more than cotton. It absorbs moisture, so it's great if you sweat. It's just a really nice, very durable piece, and it has a lot of temperature regulating benefits too. So it's a really great, really nice, high quality choice. It just feels differently out of the package than the cotton, and sometimes that can feel weird. And also sometimes we just want things super soft, and the cotton just might not be soft enough. Or we have a hand woven piece that wasn't finished as many times. That helps to keep the costs down, right? So that's why our hand wovens, which are fair trade certified, which are ethically woven, by people being paid fairly, right? But their cost is more manageable, in part because they're not finished those extra few times. So that's just something that we do when we get it, right? And it breaks in pretty easily. So breaking in is two parts, right? So it's sort of setting the fibers, and that's more important in wraps and ring slings. The carriers are a little bit, they have to be finished a little bit more because of just how they are. But especially wraps and ring slings, they really need to be finished. And so this is how my linen ring sling came in from Lenny Lamb. That's the brand this linen one was. This is a gathered shoulder, right, in Lotus Gold. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like when we first get it, and sort of my first impressions of the feel of that. So I'm going to hold that up to you so you can kind of see. The linen is a little bit different in terms of how it's woven. Again, because of the types of fabric that it is, you can see some of the character in it. This has been unopened, right? And so it's got what we call some of this little character. Some people I think call them like linen slubs, I think I hear people say, or nubs, something like that. But that's very normal for linen. That's part of the process. Linen can also develop something called perma-creasing if we leave it sort of folded the exact same way all the time. It's just sort of a characteristic of that fabric type. But that's what we've got here. You can kind of see that. And we've got our luxury ribbon. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to kind of demonstrate for you what this looks like compared to something else that's been broken in a little bit more. Okay? And I'm going to walk you through this week. I'm going to show you how I break things in. Okay. So this is what it looks like. The lotuses especially feel pretty smooth to me when I open them up. That's a characteristic of the linen, sort of a smooth, sleeker sort of feel to them. It's very hot in this little room that I'm in because of the sun. So they usually have a pretty cool feel to it, which is nice. I'm going to take this tag off. I'm going to demo it for you today. Well, and I'm going to be breaking it in, so I need that off. Okay, and so that's kind of what that looks like. That's how it lays. You can see this this has a reverse that's different. That's pretty cool. Some people open up linen especially and they say, oh, it feels like a tablecloth. I could see that. I think that I'm so used to how these feel, and I know how they're going to break in, that it doesn't really it doesn't faze me anymore, but I could see how you might say that it feels like a linen tablecloth. That would be, that would kind of make sense, right? Yeah, because of the fabric types involved is very similar. So that's what it looks like. That's how it moves. All right. For comparison, I've got a couple things here that are very similar. So here is a well-loved Lenny upgrade in Lotus Natural. This is actually, I think it's an undyed or very minimally dyed. I think it's undyed though. Undyed fabric. Maybe the white is like bleached. That's possible. But Lotus Natural. It feels a lot softer. It still has some of the smoothness. But it's not quite as much. Like, this didn't bother me before, but when I feel this is definitely preferable, right? This one, this upgrade has been through the wash several times. It's been stain treated. It's been used, and it's a well-loved piece, and that's kind of sort of the difference. And kind of how that feels. You can kind of see if I bunch it up. It kind of has like a different look to it. It's got like more of a plush almost feeling because it's been broken in. Here's another example. This is actually a linen cotton blend. A linen cotton blend is going to be softer and break in a little bit softer. This is my favorite blend. This is a linen cotton modal blend, and I really, really love this particular one. This has been used in a lot of my demos. It's been washed a few times. It just has a different feel to it as I move it in my hands. and you can kind of see that difference. So some people like to see sort of some knots. So I'll kind of show you the knots. These are different fabrics and different weights, but just so you can kind of see what that looks like. Not broken in and broken in. Kind of get to the edge here. And I think I might have seen some comments, but I'm back a little bit further today, so I'm not able to see them. I'm really sorry. I will respond to you though when I see them. So you see how it kind of it's thicker. It's not as and these are thinner straps, but it's just got a little bit of a different look and feel to it. And this, I mean, to me, this is very soft. This is very elegant. This is everything that I want in a carrier. This fabric, it's my absolute favorite blend. I really, really love it. And this is broken in, and I started that by washing it. So that's the first step that I will be doing, and I'll walk you through how I do that. But that's what I'll be doing first to bring it in, is to wash it. So now if we compare to a different fabric type, I'm going to show you how I put a ring sling on that's completely not broken in and linen, and then this one is cotton and is pretty broken in. It's to see how the floppy that kind of is. This is also herringbone weave, which is an extra soft weave. Okay, so I'm going to show you my unbroken in. You saw me take it out of the package, take the tags off. This is what it looks like, and this is how it goes on without anything else. I'm going to go get my baby Lucy. There's Lucy, and show you, and you'll be able to see the difference between this and the softer one that's been broken in. So I'm going to put the rings on my shoulder. I'm going to bring fabric around. Okay. And I've got a longer ring sling tutorial too that I can link to as well. I'm going to finger walk. Oh, let's go back to the edge. I'm going to finger walk, we call it. Get the tail gathered. Once you thread the rings once, you usually don't have to do it again, but I'll be honest, with the new ring sling, I find that I want to keep redoing the rings till I feel like it's broken in enough. So you'll see. Okay, so I'm just kind of bunching it up, getting an idea of about how much I want it. I don't want it too open, but I know this is new, and it might be a little fussy for me, so I'm also trying to just kind of gather it. I'm going to bring this in between these two rings. So there's two rings here. I want it over that top ring and then under the bottom one. Okay? And I want you to see it just doesn't move quite as easily as someone might like, right? If they're first trying out. Especially if you haven't washed it yet. You can be like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I really don't recommend using ring slings and wraps until you've sort of given them a wash, for the reasons that I said, right, about setting the fiber. So this is putting some risk on this, just sort of an FYI. You do risk damaging the fibers. But I want to show you kind of what it looks like, because this is what a lot of you do, and I know it's what a lot of you do. You put it on without breaking it in first. And I get that, I do. You kind of want to see what it's like, so I'm going to show you. All right, so I've got my baby supporting the head. Send them down. I'm going to take that top rail up. This is fairly loose. I could have tightened it more. Again, I want to show you what that looks like, because this is another really common thing people do. Oh, look, it's too loose. I don't know what to do. We take this top rail. We're going to pull across the body, okay, across the body. And then this is going to be diagonal. That's the middle section, diagonal. And then this correlates to this on the bottom. And this is going to go down to tighten, okay? Oh, I love this color on me with this purple dress. Okay, so that's what that looks like. You can see that this isn't tightened super well. This isn't an amazing carry, but baby is in. And I can tighten it. I can get that going. One way to sort of get a little bit more is to sort of lift baby's bottom up and pull like that. Did you see how much easier that was? I took some weight off of the sling, right? So I lifted up a little and then pulled. And now there's not that much more to do, because this is really nice and tight. So that's what it looks like. I can get baby up. I can get baby on I can adjust, I can pull down here. Yeah, I can do all that. I can move, I can do whatever I want. But that's what it looks like not broken in. So let's go take a look and see what one looks like when it is broken in. Or at least broken in more than that one. Okay. Maybe out. Okay, so this is a pleated shoulder, which we don't carry anymore, but just sort of for the example, because it is more broken in. This is a soft herringbone weave. And we're going to thread it again, so you can kind of see what that looks like, right? I go to the end, I finger walk. I can feel a massive difference, right, in the softness and how it moves, and how it bunches, and how it's sort of more floppy. Going through here, very easy. Now this one doesn't have quite as vibrant a difference in the sides. It does have a difference in the sides, but it's not quite as vibrant as the other. So again, we go over the one ring, under the bottom. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, maybe not. And I'm gonna bloom that out. But did you see how it didn't really get like stuck up there or anything? It really just kind of did its thing. I bloomed that out, pull that down. Here we go. This has also been washed, so it's going to be a little bit shorter than the other one just because it's been washed. So that is pretty typical. Okay, I'm going to lift up Lucy. I'm going to reach up, grab her feet. I always like to sort of set baby down on the whole thing. I find that makes it easier to do. I'm going to reach for the top rail. I'm going to pull it up. Still loose at the top, again, very normal. And I don't carry ring slings that often. I never actually carried ring slings that often. That wasn't my go-to carrier, though I probably would with another baby. But here we go. It's loose up there. This ring's, you see how the rings move down more? This ring sling is moving more. So it's something, you know, it's not perfect, okay? So in some ways I can tell this isn't fully broken in the way I'd like it to be, just because it doesn't move as easily as I wanted it to. But it does definitely move softer. This is also a pleated shoulder. That's why it's up more on my neck a little bit because of how I set it up. I should have set it up a little bit lower, but again, I don't use this one all the time. So it doesn't always come to me that way when I'm setting it up. But that's it, and that's done. So so you can kind of see the difference in how that feels, see the difference in how it moves. It's just sort of a better experience once it's broken in, and you get a better sense of how to use it. If you've never used a ring sling before and you only ever try a ring sling or a wrap that hasn't been broken in, you're not going to be happy. I know that, and that's why when we talk to you, that's one of the things we'll ask you. Well, have you prepped it yet? Have you washed it yet? Have you done anything to break it in? Because it really makes a difference in the comfort. And then just another example, because it's not going to change the type of fabric. So this is a cotton ring sling. This is a cotton wrap. This is a thicker wrap. This one, even though I have used it a lot and I've washed it a lot, is thicker. And so this isn't necessarily always my go-to, but it doesn't change the thickness, the broken-inness, just the sort of flop to it. And I don't know if you can really see that, but sort of there's just sort of a difference in how the fabric moves, and there's definitely a difference in how it feels. This wrap has been used for playtime. This has been used for wrapping babies. This has been washed. It's been ironed. It's been used for demos. It's been used with customers. It's been on the shelf. It's been in the sun. I mean, this wrap has really gone through a lot. This one has just come out of a temperature-controlled room in a box, in a bin that's protected from everything, and it's brand new. So it has a different look and feel. So what I'm gonna do next with this one is I'll take you through, I'll do a little series in my stories. I'm going to show you how I wash it, and I'm going to show you some examples of how I break it in. But basically, my first thing that I do with any new wrap or sling especially is I wash it, I drip dry it, and then I steam iron it. That is honestly the easiest way in my mind to break it in, is doing a steam iron, and I have found that does amazing things for a lot of wraps. Just check the temperature setting for the fabric that you're using. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Definitely keep an eye out. Again, we've got something special coming starting tomorrow, and I'm going to be walking you through the breaking in process, but I hope that gives you a good foundation for what we're going to be talking about. I'm really excited, and we will chat soon. Thanks so much.